A great agent is going to save you tens of thousands of dollars when you're negotiating a contract. A phenomenal agent is going to get you out of a fiery situation, is what I'm seeing on a regular basis right now. My name is Darin Hunter. I'm joined with Danny Dwyer with Main Street Group. And today we're talking a little bit of real estate, a little bit of background with Danny. Danny, Tell us what's going on in the market right now. We're in Cherokee County, North Metro. What's happening right now?
Things are starting to pick up, which is good. You know, we had a pretty rough 2023. Some people had a good year, but with the spike in interest rates and the swing that I'm sure you were seeing week to week in a point in either direction, you know, it kind of freaked a lot of people out. So 2023 was kind of cold overall. We did still have about a 4% uptick in home prices over the last year from 2022, and then that's what they're forecasting for 2024 as well. So the prices are solid. Mm-hmm. The interest rates, once they cool off a little bit, I think we're going to have a close to a repeat of 2020, 2021. So
anything new, anything exciting that folks don't know about happening in maybe just Cherokee County or just in real estate in general?
Well, like we talked about a few weeks ago, you know, the Downtown Canton area is seeing a big resurgence. They're trying to catch up with Woodstock, and it looks like everything's really starting to take shape there with the Jones building coming back. Additionally, you know, we've got a new high school going in Cherokee County that's moved a few miles just due west, I believe, of where Cherokee High School is now. And so things are starting to look up, man. The everybody's here, and they're still coming.
Yeah. Yeah, Cherokee High School definitely needed a new spot, a new venue. Yeah, so that's exciting for Cherokee County as a whole. I mean, that's sort of the flagship high school in Cherokee County. So great stuff happening. Listen, if you like what you hear today and you find any value in it, maybe you learn a thing or two today.
I hope so.
You know, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, make sure you like, comment below, ask us any questions. We're happy to respond to them, and let's get involved. Mm-hmm. All right, Danny, so I alluded to a fiery situation. Now, why am I asking about that? Tell everybody what you do on top of being a great agent.
Well, I've been in the real estate business about 9 years, and my other day job, if you will, I've been a firefighter in the metro area for about 25 years now, a little over 25 years. I spent most of my career in downtown Atlanta, and in the last few years, I've transitioned to a smaller department just north of the city.
Right. Now, you know, one of the first questions we're going to get is, you know, how do you manage your real estate business along with, you know, your day-to-day, you know, quote unquote daily job?
Right. So the parallels are actually very similar. So when we started, Main Street Group is part of eXp Realty. And when I started the group with my business partner a few years ago, we really wanted to create some very client-centric agents. We wanted to put our clients first, not the commission first, not anything else first, but their well-being, whatever that may be. And that kind of translates over from the fire department. You know, as a whole, our work ethic is second to none, in my opinion. The men and women that I've worked around for the last 25 years, they're very selfless. They put everybody first, and that's kind of what we want to do with the real estate business as well. So the parallels are very similar. Lots of hard work, lots of drive and dedication, and always putting other people before yourself.
Right.
So
one of the other parallels too I want to talk about is, you know, when I talk with firefighters, you know, they grow up having this dream of rushing to the fire and actually, you know, fighting fire. Like that's the dream. That's what you grow up doing. And a lot very similar to real estate agents. You know, they get, you know, sort of drawn in by maybe the HGTVs, the high commissions, you know, all the praise and the whatever you get from being a real estate. So, but that's not necessarily a reality, right? You're not fighting fires actually in homes and pulling people out on a regular basis. You're not closing transactions on every. Talk about that parallel.
So, you know, that much like real estate, things are different everywhere you go, right? So, in the fire department industry in Atlanta, where I came from in downtown, is probably one of the busiest, if not second busiest, fire duty wise in the southeast, or really in the state of Georgia. I would say first or second place. But then, you know, you come up here where I work now, and my position that I'm in now, I'm not rushing into burning buildings anymore. I'm in more of a command position, so I'm kind of looking after the guys that are there. Real estate's very similar too. Sometimes you have good years where you're going to putting a lot of fires out and closing a lot of contracts and deals, and then sometimes it slows down. So it ebbs and flows, kind of like everything.
Right, and you know, what I'm getting at is, there's more to the job, right, than just fighting fires. I mean, you're going to car wrecks, you're helping, OD situations, and when it comes to real estate, I mean, you're not, like I said, you're not closing a transaction every single day.
Right.
You're having to put in the legwork. You're having to market the listing. I mean, there's all these different pieces that go into just being a real estate agent or being, a firefighter. And you're more than just a firefighter. Talk about your current position, because you're in you said command role, but
yes,
you're a leader.
I am. Yeah. So I was promoted to battalion chief in July of 2023. So right now I'm in charge of 3 stations on the east side of the city that I work in, and in charge of those captains, and those captains are in charge of their personnel that they're assigned to their house. So still a licensed paramedic. So yeah, we do run about 85% of our calls now are all medical related. The other ones go anywhere from trees down to burst water pipes to fire alarms, any different type of calls for service. So there's a whole different, we are kind of the catch-all for public safety. If they don't know who to send, they hit a button and the fire department goes, because they know we can fix just about anything.
Right.
Very similar to real estate. Like you said, you're not always closing deals, but you're having to stay on top of the market trends. Right. So when we do stuff like this, or people ask me, I actually have an idea what I'm talking about. So I want to sound like I know,
Sure.
where I'm at. So yeah, the parallels again are very similar. It's a lot of legwork. There are a lot of late nights in the firehouse. There's a lot of late nights in real estate. One of the best phrases I heard when I got into the business was never turn your phone off. Always answer your phone. And so we are working late into the night, and HGTV has been really good for this business and also very difficult. They make it seem very easy, and there's a lot of late nights and stress. So yeah, it takes a toll, but it's a good business. It's a lot of fun to be in.
So you have a team that you work with on the real estate side. So when you are at the fire station and you can't necessarily answer a phone call, who helps?
Well, we've got 6 other members of the team, and so we all kind of share. We are all, with the exception of one, is on the south side of Atlanta, down around Noonan, and we've got basically all corners of the North Metro and into downtown covered. So anytime you need us, we all have assistants that work with us, so we're never out of touch for more than a few minutes. Even when I'm on the fire truck, I've got people that can go open lock boxes, that can handle paperwork, and so on. So.
All right, let's talk a little bit about, sort of the American dream, right? That's sort of been my belief, my theory, that the American dream is absolutely still alive and well, although it's changed. I think there's no doubt about that. What is your vision of what you see the American dream as today? I mean, maybe not necessarily the white picket fence and your dog and 2 kids and so forth, but what do you see, and how would you describe the American dream today?
It's very similar to what I think our parents and grandparents grew up with. It was a steady job. We never really knew much, or I didn't until I was older, about recessions and things that are recession proof. Public safety being one of those, for the most part, up until 2008, was recession proof. There were no layoffs really to speak of, at least in the Southeast. There weren't until the recession in 2008. We did have to do some layoffs. So I was always thought that I was in one of those jobs that was protected, that I was going to get a check regardless. So, again, to your point, the American dream still is alive and well. Things cost more, unfortunately. Sure. And where we're seeing the biggest, at least from the 2 industries that I work in, the fire department salary and police department salaries have only gone up maybe 20 to 30% over the last 25 years that I've been in the business. And home prices have gone up about 400%. Right. So that's where I think the hard transition is. Like, if you're a police officer, firefighter, paramedic, even nurses, it's like, can I still buy a house? My house that I bought in 2004 for $155,000, the Zestimate now, which we don't like to use a Z word, but the Zestimate now is, I think, $430,000. Now, an entry-level firefighter can't afford that house. Right. So it's a delicate balance, but no, there are options out there. There are loan options out there. As you know, we try and take care of our public safety people with our group. I'm sure you guys can do the same sort of thing. So there are definitely options out there, and we want to make it work for everybody.
Yeah, matter of fact, we're rolling out a new program specifically for first responders, healthcare, civil servants, and to help with that. Number one, they help our community on a daily basis, and you in the past, sort of the Homes for Heroes has sort of cornered the market,
right?
And I don't know why it took me so long, but no, it doesn't have to. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Homes for Hero part of that program in order to give a lender credit,
Correct,
or
yeah.
pay for a buy down. So Mortgage Right's going to be rolling out a new product here very, very shortly. And hopefully, it'll be beneficial for some of the folks that you work for, some of the folks you work with at the fire departments and so forth. So we'll carry on, we'll post some more information about that as it becomes available, but very excited about that new program. But yeah, to your point. So, all right, what about, touching on the first-time home buyers? You mentioned it's challenging to afford that house that is now, median home price of over $400,000. How do you overcome that? What do we do as a community? What do we do as a country? What are your thoughts on how do we battle fixing that?
The cry for affordable housing has always been a political and one of those things that people always want for their area. So that is definitely huge. There are some cities, I don't know if there are any around here, that offer home deals. Actually, I think Sandy Springs does, as a matter of fact, for their public safety. So they want police and fire to live in the city in which they work, but not anybody can live in Sandy Springs or Roswell, Alpharetta, Woodstock. So that would be huge for the city governments to offer some sort of stipend for that. Police officers get it a lot from different apartment complexes because they can provide security, which we can't, so that's always there. But the biggest thing that I try and encourage first-time home buyers to do is to get with a lender right off the bat, because you don't know, you think you can't afford certain things until somebody like yourself can come in, explain to them what they actually can afford, and if their credit isn't right where it needs to be, you guys can give them a plan to get it that way, which is huge. You always saw back in the day the consumer credit counseling companies, and those guys, I didn't realize until I got in the business that how much lenders can help you get your credit back to where it needs to be and show you what to pay off and first,
Yeah, there's, my team and I have all kinds of tools to help put you on a plan, whether it's a savings plan, whether it's a fixing or repairing credit plan. Obviously we want to be able to see you purchase a house. There's no doubt about it. We're motivated by you buying a house. That's how we get paid, of course. So we're going to make certain that we put you on the correct plan, and we have the tools to look at what if scenarios. If we pay down certain debts, we close certain debts, we add certain debts. How can we get your credit score into a point that you will qualify for the loan? And then, of course, we're calculating what your income is, and hey, we need to make X in order to afford this particular house. So certainly putting together a plan. I can't talk about it enough. Putting a plan together in place is vital. But when do you start? I mean, here we are in February of 2024. Okay, if you start putting in a plan together now and start, you're looking at spring, maybe even early summer before you're even buying. So, how important is it to start early?
I think it's vital. I mean, if anybody that's got kids that are getting out of high school, going into college, getting their credit set now and getting their savings plan in place now so they can buy a house when they turn 25 and get out and get a career and get settled is huge. You mentioned coming into the spring season, with the industry, since I've been in it in the last 9 years, there is definitely more people that list during the spring, but the selling season is 365 days a year. I've sold a ton of houses the week of Christmas break because families are home and they all can go look at houses together. The kids are out of school, so the season is year long, really. Now we will always see an uptick in listings in the spring. That's just natural, but to get ready to buy a home, and one thing we can do better as public safety for the newer police officers, newer firefighters, is get this as part of their program when they're coming through their academies. It's like, hey, look, you're 20, 21, 25. If you want to buy a house in our city or buy a house here, here's a couple guys that can help. So that definitely is huge. I worked a lot with guys when I was still in Atlanta that were first-time home buyers. There's a lot of programs within the city of Atlanta specifically for public safety to stay in the city. So there's different loan programs, down payment assistance. So reach out to a realtor, reach out to a lender, and really and explore. There's a lot of different questions that need to be asked. Yeah, there are several programs. In fact, the city of Canton just recently passed a down payment assistance program for first responders, healthcare. I'm drawing a blank on the other one. Is anybody that works for the city itself, they're offering up to $10,000 to help with down payment if you purchase within the city limits. So to your point earlier, I mean it's a great opportunity to help recruit
higher level talent into the city and stay in the city. So, and these down payment assistance programs in the city of Canton are forgivable. So,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, so literally you're getting, if you stay in the home for 5 years or plus, it's free money.
Free money. Exactly.
So,
exactly.
All right, now City of Canton, we were just there filming Financing the American Dream. Thanks for joining me out there.
That was great. Thank
we
you.
had a great day. It was a lot of fun. And the Jones Building, talk about that. What's going on there? Because that's just an exciting piece of real estate.
Well, and when we talked about filming there, obviously they just went through a huge renovation in the last 2 years, year and a half. And looking at the building is one of the things that I do from the fire department perspective. I thought that building had been around maybe 100 years tops. The building was actually built in 1879, which is insane. And actually pointed out, I think, the veneer that was wrapped around it to you. And we do a lot with building construction, obviously. Sure. But yeah, it's a great building. It's a combined workspace now. I believe the gentleman that we talked to, they're going to open a bar and restaurant in the basement in the next year or so. But much like downtown Woodstock has had an anchor. I think the Jones Building is really going to be an anchor for new businesses coming into downtown Canton. Yeah,
and the infrastructure is there for the city of Canton to
Absolutely.
Just explode. There's no doubt. I mean, they already have one restaurant, Pops, which is I've not been there, but evidently I've heard great
Phenomenal.
riews.
Yeah.
You've already eaten there?
Yeah, it was good. Yes.
Okay, good. Coming from Danny, eat at Pops at the Jones Building.
Absolutely.
I would have to imagine that eating at the fire department is a priority for you guys.
It's one of the best traditions we have by far.
Do you all cook for
Absolutely.
one another? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when I see those videos or those shows where they're making a big deal out of the meals, that's a real thing.
The meal's huge. The meal's huge. We are definitely a family. We spend a third of our lives there. So a little over 100 days a year we are spent with these other people, and they're family to us,
Awesome.
And family's got to eat, right? So we try and definitely do 2 a day. We do breakfast and dinner, no matter what. But yeah, a lot of guys come in and women come in and they don't know how to cook when they're, 19, 20, 21. So
Sure.
I don't know how to cook. Well, learn to make one meal,
right.
You're going to mess it up, but it starts there.
Yeah.
And then we've got guys that I can think of a couple people I would put on some of these cooking shows that just knock it out of the park with plating and how they serve. I mean, we do very well. We do very well.
I love that. So you're teaching life skills at the department as well.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned, that you're working with, a lot of building, a lot of construction as well. I mean, that's got to be an attribute as a real estate agent as well, right?
It does. And, you can... From a fire department perspective, when you're learning about how homes are built, how buildings are built and constructed, so it gives me a little bit of a background. I'm by no means a contractor, but then 10 years in this business and going through, I don't know how many hundreds of home inspections at this point, I can kind of walk through and get a pretty good idea of what we're going to find when the actual inspection comes back, which is definitely an advantage, because I'm not going to have a client spend $500 on a home inspection if I can look and see a bunch of stuff that's going to cost us a lot of money.
Right.
It's about a lot of red flags, I guess you could say.
Right. So another reason why you should be choosing Danny Dwyer in the Main Street Group
absolutely. As
your real estate agent, your realtor in the know. Danny, where can everybody find you?
Facebook, of course. GAMainstreet.com is our website. We're very proud of that. We're also on Instagram, all the social media, YouTube. So, yeah, you can find us anywhere. And, of course, phone calls, text.
Okay. And we'll post all your contact information in the description below. Danny, anything that you're just super excited about going into the, to finish us off into, the buying season or just throughout the rest of 2024?
Yeah, I'm excited. This year, I think last year was a little difficult. It was a lot more uncertain last year than it is this year. But I think with the rates stabilizing, I think we're going to see a really phenomenal 2024. There's going to be a lot of people that were waiting in 23 for these rates to stabilize a little bit. And now that they are in the process of stabilizing, I think it's going to be a pretty nuts spring and summer in the real estate business for sure.
All signs are pointing in that direction. We've already seen contracts come in $20,000, $30,000 over asking price, which was a little bit of a surprise to see that so early in the year. But again, all signs are pointing towards a really phenomenal buying season. So if you're needing to get pre-approved, don't hesitate to reach out to my team, myself. All the contact information, the website to the application page will be in the description below. My name is Danny. My name is Darin Hunter. This is Danny Dwyer.
Danny Dwyer.
And this was another guaranteed episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.